I know this isn't how I normally do my videos. I know I usually finish like the entirety of the 10 chapters before coming and giving like a rundown on it, but I can't do that with this one. I have so much going through my head right now, and none of it is positive necessarily, which isn't great. I know I should be looking for positive things to say, but there really is nothing. And so I'm going to break it down easy for you right now. The problem I'm having the most issues with right now is chapter 46. Okay, we're not even going to talk about the rest of them right now. That's going to be later, but I have to come to you and tell you about chapter 46. Chapter 46, we finally see Kit decide he's gonna go to Loot. He's finally gonna go to Loot with Peyton. That all is stemming from what him and Kai have a conversation in chapter 45. I think some sort of conversation about, you know, their past, about like stuff, and all of it is so repetitive. I don't even feel like I need to tell you what it's about, because they're just talking about their past, who they don't want to be, who they do want to be. They're talking about their positions as Crown Prince and Future Enforcer. Like, that is the only thing they ever talk about, like, ever. That is like it. And so there's no reason to read any of that conversation, because it is so repetitive. And that's what a lot of these conversations are through this entire book, is just repetitive exposition that we already know and have already been told from multiple people, from multiple different like perspectives, and there's no point to it. Like, we're not learning anything new, and if we are, it's conversations that do not pertain to the like plot like at all. Like, Kai and Peyton had a whole conversation about what sort of fruit Kai doesn't like. Like, how does that help anyone? How does that help anyone? Chapter 46, Adina is written like she is 13 years old. She is written like any sort of basic 13-year-old girl who's obsessed with boys, and I don't understand why. Adina is pretty much the Cinna of this universe. She could be so much more powerful and have so much more like, I don't even know. She could be so much more if she wasn't just simply a plot device. Everyone in this story is a plot device for Peyton. My real issue is that when Kit finally comes to her and is like, I want you to take me to Loot, you know, she starts to feel bad for betraying him. She's betraying him, and she starts to feel bad. But then she goes on to say, like, I have to do this for like my people. I have to save my people. And I'm just sitting here like, he hasn't done anything. Like, he hasn't done anything to you or to them for you to warrant this sort of like, I have to protect my people from him. Like, he hasn't done anything, and he's actively trying to change. Like, to change it, to be better than his father. Like, he is actively trying. And her whole thing about, like, the my people, that also got me started on something, too. Because she refers to it as saving her people, or my people. And that's so weird, because first of all, she's white. It's giving white savior complex, first of all. But second of all, my heritage is German, but I don't cling to that enough to be like, oh, well, you know, if German people are suffering for this, that, or the other, I have to go, like, be, you know, I am not obsessed enough with my heritage to feel like it is my responsibility to like go and fight/defend them for certain things. It's weird, but also she has no connections with any ordinary people, okay? This is why it's weird. She only has connections to the ordinaries because of the resistance. She never had any connection to them at all before this. None. If she had had any sort of connection with like a small group of ordinaries who are hiding in plain sight and she felt the need to protect them, that would make more sense. But she's also just as bad as the king is, because the king treats ordinaries different than elites. He has separated them. Like, ordinaries are a subgroup. They are ostracized, essentially. And every time Peyton refers to the ordinaries as my people, she's essentially doing the same thing. She's treating them differently than everyone else. And while they might not have powers, they are still human and they are still genetically related, like historically and hereditarily related to the elites and to the mundanes. So every time she calls the ordinaries my people, she is separating them and ostracizing them as much as the king has, because she doesn't consider the elites and the mundanes her people. It's only the ordinaries. And they aren't separate races. It's not like they're different races. They are simply genetically, there's a slight genetic variable between the ordinaries, the mundanes, and the elites. And that's why the mundanes and the elites have powers and the ordinaries do not, because there is a slight genetic difference. Kit shows Peyton the passageways under the palace. You go through the dungeon into a passageway which takes you to the bowl, and from the bowl you can get outside. That's where I've stopped. Like, in the middle of 46, that's where I've stopped. He is divulging so much information, especially since he has explained to her that he is the only one that has the key to this passageway. The only one. Somehow, miraculously. It's almost like all these people were built to be plot devices. He's the only one with a key to these passageways. Why he's telling her all of this stuff, all of the history about these passageways, I don't know. And it's not like she's being slick about it. She's like, I had to craft this question perfectly to not sound suspicious. And then she went through and she like peppered him with a bunch of questions about everything. And I'm like, that's not carefully crafting, and that's not sounding suspicious. Just be like, so where are we going? Like, where are we gonna end up? Because you need to know that to get to loot. But you don't badger someone for questions when you're trying to remain inconspicuous. But no, my biggest gripe with 46 has been just the fact that she has so much dedication to people she doesn't know, to her people. Like, it's so weird. It feels so racially motivated, but nothing about this is racial. Like, these aren't a race of people. They are the same people. They just don't have powers. So it's giving white savior, but it's also really, it feels very almost like appropriative. Like, she's appropriating something or other. I don't know. It was weird. It made me feel weird. It made me kind of take a step back and be like, maybe you should reevaluate some things, because this is weird. This is weird. But this is the first like actual thing that has made me so like I need to talk about, because nothing else has happened. Like, Kai, and this is another thing, the second trial took, chapter 41, the second trial took maybe less than 24 hours. They, climb the mountain, get to the top, and then they have to fight over a flag, a single flag. And then it's stated that whoever gets the flag will be the winner. There's nothing to win. It's not like anybody else dies. I don't understand what they actually won. Just the trial ended once somebody grabbed the flag. During this, Peyton is about to kill Ace, and then she gives Kai the opportunity to kill Ace instead, because that's a choice. And so Kai kills Ace, but then Kai also kills Braxton at the same time, strangely enough, which was weird because the timeline didn't really add up. So that was strange. I don't understand how these people can kill each other and not feel anything, because they are friends. They've grown up together. I don't understand how they can't have a single shred of resentment for themselves, or grief or sympathy, or any none of the emotions you would expect them to have after killing each other and battling to the death. None of the trauma, there's no emotion behind any of these people after nothing at all. In chapter 42 something happens. Chapter 43 I don't think, because there's nothing to report to you guys, because nothing happens. Nothing has happened. Nothing has happened during, or maybe it wasn't chapter 41 where they had the battle. Maybe it was a different, because during one of the chapters at some point, because Jax and Peyton are on a team together, which is what I wanted for the first trial. And I wanted in the first trial, Jax and Peyton sort of talk, and Jax sort of tells her that my brother's really that's what I was expecting. That's what I wanted, was Jax's perspective on his brothers. But it didn't give us anything good. It didn't give us anything insightful. It just sort of repeated the same information that we had always been told, was that Kai has been tortured and trained. There was nothing else of substance. Jax didn't go rambling on about how much, I don't know, Kit likes dogs, and Kai's a cat person, and Kai really likes these sort of books, and he's writing one. We didn't get any sort of depth at all to these people. We've just been told again what we were told previously. There's just repetitive nonsense over and over and over again every chance we get. And I'm tired. I'm gonna be honest. I've been skimming these chapters because there is literally nothing else for me to do. I either skim the chapters or I DNF. I will finish reading these 10, and then I will come back to you if anything exciting happens. They're gonna be in loop. I'm so tired of this entire experience. I'll report back. So just finished my chapter, my quota. Went through another entire stack of mini sticky notes, so that's fun. Look at how thick she is. She's so thick. After chapter 46, we get to chapter 47, obviously. In chapter 47, Peyton goes back to her dad's house. She goes back to the Resistance, and she updates them on what's going on. How she did this in one night, I don't know, because she and Kit leave the palace at sunset, so they go to loot and then back, I'm assuming in hours, because it is told to us at the beginning of this book that it takes hours to get from loot to the palace and vice versa. Hours. Even by horse, even with one horse carrying one person, it takes hours. So how time works, I don't know, and I've stopped trying to understand, because I don't think I will ever know. I don't think I'm ever gonna know. I don't think I'm ever gonna understand. But somehow she gets from the palace to loot with Kit, and then back to the palace with Kit, and then abandons Kit somewhere in the middle to then go back to loot. How? I don't know if she takes a horse. I don't know if she walks. It's gonna take so much longer to walk to loot and back than take a horse, because she's already done that, and it's already taken her hours. I don't know what is going on? I don't understand. After that happens in chapter 47, we get to chapter 48, and in chapter 48, I'm going to show you this here really quick. This is my only note for chapter 48. That's the only note. These chapters are getting so short, and absolutely nothing is happening, to the point where my only notes end up like this. I will have 1 or 2 or 3 notes like this, because these chapters are short and without any substance. Chapter 48 ended up being a nightmare that Kai had, and then you flip the page and you end up looking at page 49. This chapter probably wasn't even an 8.5 by 11. Like, you could probably write this all in 10 font on an 8.5 by 11. That's how short this chapter was. Chapter 49, Peyton hears Kai screaming, and instead of leaving it to the guards, I don't know where the guards, the Imperials, are in this place. They're supposed to be guarding all the contestants. They're supposed to be lining the halls of the contestants' corridor. They just simply aren't. So Peyton gets up from her bed and goes to Kai's room and wakes him up, and he puts a knife to her throat, because that's what these people do. They just put knives to each other's throats. And then he asks her to stay with him because of this nightmare that he had, and she does, and they end up falling to sleep together. And then that's it. Like, the only purpose of Kai having this nightmare was so that way Peyton would be forced to stay with him. Like, there's no actual reason for it. Like, they don't talk about it. They don't really, like, discuss why he's feeling this way. Like, there's no emotion. There's just get them in the same bed. You know, it's ridiculous. It's pointless. It's useless. Chapter 50 is the ball, the third ball before the third trial, which is apparently the final trial. And Kai gets up the next morning, and he gets breakfast for Peyton, and he comes back into the room with breakfast, and she's about to throw a shoe at him. And I just want to know why. Why is she going to throw a shoe at him? Like, what is the point? Because then they go on and have banter about her being violent. A violent little thing. He calls her a little thing. I am about to burn this book. She leaves eventually. She doesn't actually eat the breakfast he got for her, which is annoying. Like, eat the food. And then we get to the ball, and she's dressed in this dress, which I can't really understand the description of, except that it sounds really ugly and not time period accurate. Apparently she's wearing like a corset top, except the middle is see-through, so it's like a mesh corset top with like straps of black around her arms. Don't know what that, like, it's not sleeves, it's like wrapped, but they're loose, but they're like wrapped. I don't understand, but it sounds ugly. It sounds really ugly, because there's flowers and beading and glitter that looks like stars, and it sounds horrendous. Honestly, it sounds awful. I don't even know if I can pull up a picture of something close, because honestly it doesn't exist, and it just sounds awful. He goes on this, because this is Kai's POV, he goes on this little tangent about how pretty she is and how he's jealous that he has to share her with everyone. Kind of obsessive, kind of not great. Then she looks at Kit, because Kit is her dancing partner for all of these balls, and he calls Kai calls Peyton a devil, a deity, a Green Reaper, the downfall of man, and then he says that beasts don't get the beauty, which is dumb and stupid, and I hate it. Yeah, I'm on the verge of DNFing, because I absolutely cannot with this book. I have too many questions about just simple inconsistencies that could be fixed or rectified with a simple answer, or a simple just like one or two sentences to fix half of these issues that I'm dealing with. Okay, just 1 or 2 sentences That's it. That's all I need. But absolutely nothing has happened, which is why this video that you are watching is so short, because absolutely nothing has happened. How is it possible that nothing happens? Anyway, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to see you again for this book in particular. If you want to know what happens in the end, I probably won't be able to help you with that, because I'm so sick and tired of this. I am done. I am absolutely done. I am done. I'm not. I am tired. I am so tired. All of that aside, I love you guys. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.